Holosky podcast. We're your host. I'm Steven.
And Kyle.
And it's Monday Holocult. You know what that means. You've chosen us to hang out with you to get us through the work week.
Slow and seductive.
Slow and seductive.
Throwing them curveballs today, baby.
We are. I got quite an interesting little case I put forward today. I'll give you a little snippet of it. So Kyle, okay? Got to put your imagination cap on.
Oh, it's on.
You got it?
Yeah.
Imagine this.
Okay.
You're a defense contractor.
So I'm falling out of control.
You've just spent the last week at a classified research site in the Utah desert.
Mm-hmm.
A place that has a history of cattle mutilations.
Nuclear warheads?
No.
Oh.
Strange lights.
Okay.
Objects that appear and disappear.
Gotcha.
You go home.
Mm-hmm.
3 nights later, your daughter wakes up and asks, who's the tall man standing in the hallway? There's no one there. Then your dog starts growling. Then your motion sensor camera goes off. We're going to talk about the Hitchhiker Effect.
Somebody's getting roundhoused.
It kind of hits close to home, considering what we went through a little while ago.
Yeah, it gives me the heebie-jeebies. I got goosebumps right now.
Yep. Yeah, it sucks.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to get into that after we get through the socials and all that stuff. So,
yeah.
Welcome to the show.
Yeah.
Check us out at all our social media, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, TikTok, Discord, Reddit. Search up the Holosky podcast. You'll find us there. Come and hang out. Be part of the cult. If you're new here, we go through some business. If you don't want to listen to it, you can fast forward. There's magical buttons on every piece of equipment you consume content with.
I do love how it's magic.
That you can fast forward through what we're talking about, also through the ads that you hate.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Phenomenal. It's magic science. You can do that, though, because you're a human and you have fingers. So try it out. If you're not new here, welcome back. It's us again. If you got a paranormal experience you'd like for us to feature on a future show, Kyle's got some info for you.
I do. holoskypodcast@gmail.com. You're going to write your story out as much detail as you possibly can. Then you're going to hit that little send button. It's going to go shoo, shoo, shoo. And then it's going to be in our email, which is the most preferred way of communication with Steve and I. We're going to take that. We're going to put it in the catacombs. You're going to get your own show one day. When that day happens, it's going to be like winning the lottery or getting struck by lightning, whichever way you want to equate it. You know, it's here nor there. But one way or the other, you're going to be famous. You're going to be known.
It's easy.
Whether it's for winning billions of dollars or getting struck by lightning, you decide.
It's really up to you.
It is. Your destiny is in your hands.
Yeah.
All it takes is for you to hit the send button and forever changed.
It's easy. It's gravy.
That's fucking real.
If you'd like to support the show, there's plenty of ways you can do it. We have a Patreon where you can go check out the tiers there. There are tiers there where if you're sad about the ads, you can sign up for ad-free.
Ooh.
Another solution to your mystery.
Man, we are just coming with solutions. That's nuts.
Just saying. So go check that out. We also got a store, holoskypodcast.com. You can see we got some merch. If you want to rep the Holocult, go do that. All the cool kids are doing it. You can.
Oh, you can't forget, Steve. We got to shatter them glass ceilings.
Yes.
Shatter that.
them.
Yeah.
You can also do the simplest thing, and that's just share the show. Share it word of mouth. Share it on social media. It's free. Takes no time at all. Go to YouTube. Subscribe. Just help push the show through all these algorithms. We're constantly the algorithmical glass ceiling that we're trying to shatter.
Yeah.
You can do that. Also, you can go to wherever you listen to podcasts and leave us a 5-star rating and review, and when I find it, I will gladly shout you out. This week's episode is brought to us by our friend, Minkins9. Minkins9 says, 10 out of 10 UFO emoji. 5 stars. Not only did we get 5 stars, we got 10 out of 10.
Yes.
Out of 5 stars.
Oh, nice. Overachieving there.
Minkin says, ever hear the saying easy on the eyes? Well, these guys' voices are easy on the ears. I can't express enough how much I appreciate a good voice. They're great folks who know how to keep you listening. I sure wish my dad was here to appreciate y'all with me.
Oh,
we used to listen to George Norrie faithfully, had many conversations about what's out there. He would have really loved your show. Thank you both for what you do. Smiley face.
Damn.
Well, Minkins, we appreciate you, and we wish your dad was here as well.
Yeah, that one kind of got you in the feels there for,
Yeah.
It was, I thought initially someone was going to basically come on to us for the first time ever on a review. Because they were like, you ever heard that saying, easy on the eyes? I'm like, oh, shit, here we go.
I said we got faces for podcasts.
That's what they said. So it was the complete opposite of that.
It's fine.
And then you hit us with the family lineage, listening. That's a weird feeling, one I hadn't really considered.
I like that
it's a weird feeling for Steve and I.
That the appreciation of the weird was passed down.
Yeah.
And that now we are part of that lore, essentially.
That's a cool, my brain just goes to the father, and I don't know in this case if it's a son or a daughter, and they're sitting there hanging out, listening to our show. That's a weird feeling.
We're glad that we can muster up positive memories.
Yeah. Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah. And thank you for the 5-star rating and review and sharing that with us. Another way you can support the show is support our wonderful sponsors that you're going to hear from now. And just like that, we are back. And as I kind of alluded to earlier today, we're going to dive into one of the strangest claims that kind of emerged from, I guess, initially UFO research, but then it kind of spans out into broader phenomena. And that is the Hitchhiker Effect.
And just to be clear, we're not talking about smelly people on the side of the road, right?
No.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure.
I feel like they would be way easier to deal with than what we're gonna.
I mean, yeah, that's true, but they're still kind of paranormal in their own right.
Mm-hmm. I get it.
Yeah.
So, the Hitchhiker Effect refers to the phenomena where individuals who visit locations with high paranormal activity, particularly Skinwalker Ranch, report that strange and haunting occurrences follow them home. These incidents often include UFO sightings, poltergeist activity, shadows, orbs, suggesting that the paranormal experiences are contagious and persist long after they leave the site.
It's interesting. I wonder who initially makes that statement.
It's first talked about in the book, The Hunt for the Skinwalker, and then also in the Skinwalker and the Pentagon.
Mm-hmm.
Those two books is essentially, I feel like, where the term kind of gains traction.
I say that because it kind of feels like an uneducated person making that claim. Just right off the rip here, because I don't know a whole lot about the Hitchhiker Effect. I can definitely tell where where it's kind of trying to go, but it makes me just feel of like what normal paranormal people would call attachments.
That's essentially it. But
the Hitchhiker Effect sounds cooler. I like it.
It kind of goes beyond that.
Okay.
In terms, though, as well.
And I'm also glad that it does that because it has such a unique name that I actually want it to be more than just that.
Yeah.
So that's cool.
So the term is largely associated with research obviously conducted at Skinwalker Ranch in Utah, where visitors, researchers, federal agents, scientists have reported experiences not only at the ranch, but also at their home, sometimes thousands of miles away. Reported events include strange electrical anomalies, objects moving or disappearing, hearing voices, footsteps, seeing shadow beings, seeing different colored orbs. Kind of spreads the whole gamut. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about it, and I got a few different dives into people that have particularly experienced things from the ranch. And we got to start out at Skinwalker Ranch, which, as you know, Kyle went in hard on Skinwalker Ranch. If you guys haven't listened to that, you need to go back, find those episodes, which I don't know where they are. I don't know which ones they are. Find them. Kyle did a multi-parter. Check it out.
I'm actually rather disappointed in Skinwalker Ranch anymore.
Yeah, it's become like a weird money,
kind of like a
thing.
like a sideshow attraction.
Yeah,
or like a not even more like a fucking side of the road attraction, essentially.
Yeah. I'm not going to go into a whole bunch about Skinwalker Ranch because, like I said, if you want to know about it, go back and listen to the 76-part episode we did. It was a bunch. Was it 4?
On Skinwalker?
Yeah.
Maybe. I know there's a couple. Stardust is our longest. Oh, Stardust is like 6.
Yeah, Skinwalker, you went deep into Skinwalker Ranch.
There's a lot. I mean, there's a lot there.
Oh, yeah.
It's a massive thing.
Yeah. Let's look here.
Because there's tons of lore and experiences around Skinwalker. It doesn't lack in that neighborhood.
Maybe it's only a 2-parter. Yeah, maybe it's only a 2-parter.
Maybe.
Womp womp. Okay, but go check it out. Those are episodes. Hold that thought. Episode 23 and episode 24.
Dang, those that early?
Yeah, you're going to go check them out. Don't judge us on those episodes. We were young and fresh then.
That also might be why there was only a 2-parter, too.
Yeah.
We kind of got more confident in our abilities as we've gotten years under the belt.
More better.
Yeah, more better.
So we're going to start at Skinwalker Ranch in the mid-1990s. Aerospace billionaire Robert Bigelow purchased a property in northeastern Utah known today as Skinwalker Ranch. The ranch already carried local folklore tied to Navajo legends in the area of shape-shifting entities. But what drew Bigelow's attention were reports from the Sherman family, who claimed to experience a whole gamut of different paranormal activity, from UFO sightings to poltergeist activity, cattle mutilations, large unidentified cryptid-esque creatures. It's a whole bunch of phenomena going on there. Bigelow formed the National Institute for Discovery Science, where scientists, veterinarians, and surveillance teams would go on the ranch and try to collect data about what was going on. They installed cameras, motion sensors, radiation detectors, you name it. Bigelow put it on the ranch to collect as much data as he could. For years, the researchers reported anomalies that seemed to escalate under observations. But as researchers were coming and going, the phenomena kind of changed. People were reporting things happening to them as they would get home. So according to The Hunt for the Skinwalker, written by Kelleher and journalist George Knapp, some investigators began reporting disturbances after leaving the ranch. Like I said, not necessarily at the ranch, but being home. Accounts included shadow figures standing near their beds in their bedrooms, different color orbs floating through hallways, objects moving without explanation, electronic malfunctions, children noticing entities before the adults mentioned anything, objects essentially appearing and disappearing from different locations, almost like teleportation shit.
Which, to note, I've had all of that happen, except for maybe the objects. I haven't noticed the object thing, like, like disappearing and then reappearing. I haven't really. But
it could also fall into like, hey, I left my keys in point A, found them in point B.
Yeah. So yeah, you definitely have. Yeah.
Which I know where we're gonna go. Like, I know this is gonna tie in to what we experienced, because it's almost verbatim what they experienced at the
That's
ranch.
Creepy.
Which makes you wonder if X has as much power as Skinwalker Ranch.
That would be fucked up.
I say that out loud, and I'm like, that's weird. But Ghost Hunter Dave warned us. He said it's a portal. It'll follow you home.
Yeah, I wish he would come on and talk about that place.
So we'll probably circle back around to that after I kind of talk about some of these people's experiences. One government-affiliated researcher allegedly returned home to find poltergeists poltergeist activity witnessed by multiple different family members. Another reported his children experiencing night terrors involving tall humanoid shapes.
Yeah.
That sounds familiar.
Yeah.
The ranch research later intersected with the Defense Intelligence Agency program known as AAWSAP, the Advanced Aerospace Weapon System Applications Program. That connection is detailed in the Skinwalker at the Pentagon book. Some government officials were aware that investigators were reporting personal paranormal after effects of visiting the ranch, which is a pretty big deal, right? That you have government officials acknowledging that government scientists are bringing home some sort of anomalous activity. As they are investigating the phenomena, they begin to realize that the phenomena appears to transfer, obviously, from location to person, but also there are several accounts of family members that experience activity without ever visiting the ranch. So it's passing from person to person. They use the word contagious. They use the word virus.
Which is gross. It's gross.
It sucks.
Yeah.
It sucks. So, yeah. You end up having exposure to this intense paranormal activity. The experiencer comes home. You have small disturbances that are starting to be noticed by essentially other family members. Then it escalates, and then it kind of gradually pulls itself out over time. The phenomena almost feels responsive to the person visiting the ranch, which is bizarre in itself. You've got, like, it makes it terrible because it's not, I feel like when they visited the ranch, they were going into its space to take tabs on the phenomena.
Mm-hmm.
But then it flips the script where it is intruding into their private lives, almost the same way the investigators did to it.
It is weird. That's a weird observation.
It's almost like it's what's the word I'm looking for? Intelligent. Because you have accounts of children seeing things, pets acting weird, motion sensors going off. So I've pulled a few different cases of essentially the Hitchhiker Effect that has been documented from Skinwalker Ranch. We're going to talk about that for a little bit. I think I've got 3 or 4. First, we're going to go into the defense intelligence officer that is anonymous, who goes by the pseudonym Axelrod. In the mid-2000s, a Defense Intelligence Agency officer referred to in the book Hunt for Skinwalker Ranch under the pseudonym Axelrod became involved in a government-funded investigation into Skinwalker Ranch. He didn't consider himself someone to be prone to paranormal beliefs. He was a career intelligence officer. He was very analytical, very structured, and very grounded. His work brought him into proximity with phenomena that happened at the ranch. There were reports of high strangeness, UFO sightings, poltergeist activity, and other anomalous occurrences associated with the ranch and related cases. It should be known that Axelrod never came forward to say that he experienced any of the paranormal activity at the ranch. He was simply there documenting other people's experiences with the paranormal activity. So essentially, he didn't have to have contact with whatever the phenomena was.
That is wild. That I mean, it is, but it isn't. Because we know enough now that it would still make sense to us to be like, hey, all I did was go here. I didn't experience anything, but then I get home and now things are happening.
It takes an even weirder turn because once he got back to his home in Virginia after one stint at Skinwalker, he wasn't the one that started experiencing things. His wife was, and she never went to the ranch. So almost like it's hopping.
I'm trying to run this around in my head.
I love when the wheels are turning.
Yeah, because it's like the way that you just kind of frame that is interesting. Because could that almost in a way, and of course this is a rough thought, so you listening will work some of it out, Steve and I will work some of it out, but it almost in a way explains the phenomena like we talked about in my episode, The Leopard Men, how it spans cultures and time. It's almost like it explains that in a way because like you have skinwalkers that are kind of isolated, to the Navajo regions, right?
Yeah.
But it does trickle out eventually.
Same essential phenomena happening in different geographical regions with different names.
Yeah. So like what if somehow, some way, we'll just use Skinwalker as the current example. Somehow that's locked to a region. But then somebody comes in and it's capable of attaching and they travel outward.
Yeah.
And then it jumps.
Makes you wonder.
And then it begins to replicate in that culture, but that culture doesn't know about the Skinwalker. So it calls it the Wendigo.
Creates its own.
And it somehow spawns its own mythology.
Yeah. It's weird.
Man. I don't know how that works, obviously, but it is an interesting thought.
It's strange.
It is strange.
So this is an account of Axelrod's wife's encounter. First, which he had other family members encounter stuff too. The first is the bedroom incident. It was the middle of the night, 2 a.m. Axelrod's wife woke up abruptly. At first, she thought that she was still dreaming. And then she saw it. A large, solid, black humanoid figure standing near the bedroom doorway.
Which is exactly what happened to you.
And exactly what Maddox talked about.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, and Gage didn't describe it that way, but he described seeing a head. Basically, he described somebody standing in the doorway.
It's crazy. Right?
Yeah. He didn't describe it as like a shadow figure. He just said someone. So, but it very well could have been a shadow figure.
Yeah. She said the shadow wasn't...
It's fucking weird.
It wasn't defined, but it wasn't vague. It had mass. It had dimension. She could see that it was a humanoid figure. She described it as tall, fully formed, and darker than the surrounding darkness. She said as she sat there, this thing started to move toward her side of the bed. She immediately felt fear. She did not feel confusion. She did not have sleep paralysis. It was just pure terror to the point where she screamed and it woke Axelrod up. As soon as he woke up, whatever the entity was disappeared. The room was empty. House was quiet. He got up, obviously, searched the whole house. Didn't find anything. No signs of intrusion. All the doors were locked. All the windows were sealed. But his wife still had this experience of whatever this thing was.
A couple things here. And this could just be because the presented approach you're taking. Here's something that kind of just crossed my mind. In hearing her recollection of the encounter, the description of pure fear. They kind of hit me in a different way this time because I think it would be fair to say that anyone in that moment would feel the same way. Even if said shadow person didn't have negative intentions, I feel like your description of the encounter is still going to be that you're terrified. You know what I mean? Like that panic would set in if a normal person was inside the home, that fear would still be there.
I don't know, because like when I have sleep paralysis, I don't see anything. I don't hear anything. It's just a like the only way I can describe it is a primal fear.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't compare that to having someone in my house that isn't supposed to be there, because I've never had that before.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I feel like a primal fear would be there. And here's why that analytical statement comes out of my mouth. Because the way you're presenting this is making my brain track differently.
Mm-hmm.
And what if, and it is kind of based on the conversation a little bit that Steve and I had off air, but what if we're looking at this all wrong? What if that shadow figure in the doorway is a scientist, just not from here?
What if it is from here?
What if it is from here? You know, because that's not far outside the realm of astral projection and those types of situations. And it is rather strange in all of our cases that it was a figure in the doorway observing.
It's fucking weird.
Like it does, when it's all framed and worded that way, it does kind of feel like, and scientist is a lack of words for me, because it could, like, what if it legitimately is, like, it feels like somebody is watching and observing this segment of time, this, you know, because someone entered my domain with the intention of observing and watching, and now I'm curious. And now I'm going to observe and watch your moment in time.
And yeah, I was gonna kind of go off on a tangent there, like how it is tied to these specific paranormal geographic locations, like Skinwalker. For our lack of a better term, for our example, would be when we visited X, because that's when everything started popping off.
Right.
It is like it could go both ways. It could be it looking in on us because we looked in on it, or it could be something essentially we brought home.
Yeah. I don't know. It's like I said, the way that it's kind of being framed in our previous conversation, it's making my brain track differently than it normally would. And it's just putting new thoughts into my brain that I'm trying to kind of work out as we go.
It also makes me wonder, like, we've done deep dives into the Andrews family. We've done deep dives into the Hellfire Farm. The Hellfire Farm kind of felt like it was its own paranormal portal.
Yeah.
But in these other cases, I wonder if these people visited essentially sites that could have this same effect on them?
It's an interesting question, man. I don't think it's one that we'll get the answer to, but it is an interesting question. It's something that I hadn't considered. I don't think anybody would actually consider it, to be honest with you, because we take those stories at such face value that we don't. I don't know that I've ever heard an interview where something like the Andrews family happens and that question is approached.
No.
Have you ventured into an area that was known to be haunted or Yeah. I think it's a good question that maybe people should start asking.
Especially if you take this into consideration. It's just so bizarre. So over the next few nights, the disturbances continued and escalated. She began hearing heavy footsteps downstairs after everybody in the house went to bed. Not house-settling noises, very deliberate footsteps. She said at times she thought she could hear the cabinet doors opening and closing in the kitchen. This is weird too. One time she reported the distinct noise of something metallic being dropped. Yep. Sucks, right?
Which is literally what I've had go on for years and now Steve's experiencing. But in the same concept here, like I told Steve prior to the episode, ever since Steve started hearing the bean, what we call the bean, I don't hear anymore.
Because
it doesn't happen at my house.
The hitchhiker has came over.
Yeah. Yep.
Each time Axelrod would get up, he would go turn the lights on, check the rooms, nothing.
By the way, I always think that you're going to say Axl Rose.
Because Axl Rose would get up, check the rooms, turn the lights on, nothing. But the wife kept experiencing the sounds. It escalates again.
Also weird that it tags to his wife, because that happened with me.
It's like the phenomena goes after the people. It's almost like it's out to, like we talked about in the Leopard Man, to invoke fear in our most vulnerable states. You know, like we talked about when it was going on. Who knows? So, backyard encounter. One evening, she looked out toward the wood line at the edge of their property, kind of where the trees butt up to their yard, and she sees something leaning against one of the trees. Stood upright.
Gross.
It was large, had a canine wolf-like form, broad shoulders, long arms. It did not run on all fours. It stood vertically. She thought that it was watching and observing the house. The lighting was dim, but she did notice the shape. She recognized the shape as it being some sort of, like, essentially werewolf-like canid that stared at the house for several seconds. When she turned the floodlights on, it disappeared. Days later, their teenage son also came forward, reported seeing a large, canine-like animal figure running from their backyard into the woods. He described it as unusually large, upright in posture, before dropping lower as it moved, which we didn't necessarily experience, but it was experienced from the initial family in the Skinwalker Ranch.
Yeah. And I mean, early in my history, I had the encounter with a dog.
That's true.
Early in my life. But I don't know. I don't know what's going on in my head.
It's so confusing.
It is, but like I'm getting these like ideas of, like, to me, the way all this is being presented, whatever is going on in these descriptions makes me feel like whatever this is what has been referred through time as the Watcher.
Which is exactly what Ghost Hunter Dave called the entity at X.
Oh yeah, that's fucking weird. That's weird. And you know, with the canid, the creatures, I think most people initially think of Dogman, but Steve, we've talked about, not in depth through a show, but of cultures of supposed dogmen that have interacted with people before.
And look at the form that was seen at the Hellfire Farm. The Egyptian dog-headed god.
That's what, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. If you saw that in the dark, what are you going to think?
Yeah, it's basically a werewolf or a dogman or whatever.
Exactly. I'm going to continue on here. Inside the home, the activity persisted intermittently. There was, again, more loud bangs in the kitchen, footsteps ascending through the hallways and toward the stairs before stopping. There were senses of movement and peripheral vision, which that's a constant here.
And like all the noises and shit that you're describing, like opening cabinet doors and shit, what's that feel like to you? To me, it feels like exploration.
Oh, I didn't think about it.
And curiosity. But it's something I never had. Like I said, the way this is all being presented is making my brain track differently than it normally would. And now I have that in my head right now, and I could be completely fucking way off, and I need to get off this train. But it just makes me feel a type of way.
That's weird.
It is weird because none of it right now seems malicious.
Oh, it does feel. I don't know. It's weird. On at least one other occasion, Axl Rose's
hell yeah,
Axl Rose's wife again reported seeing a dark shape in the bedroom doorway. Said this time it did not approach. It just remained in the doorway, almost as if observing, and then dissolved into the darkness. Axelrod himself did not initially witness the entities directly, but he did hear the noises. So he was kind of partial to the experience, but not to the same effect that his wife was.
It's also weird that he's not seeing the entities.
Yeah.
It's kind of strange to me.
Yeah. This obviously had a psychological effect on his family. They began sleeping with the lights on. Children wouldn't go into certain rooms. He had essentially only been exposed to reports of the anomalous phenomena at the ranch. He didn't experience it himself, and now whatever the phenomena is has moved itself into his home. His home that had no prior history of hauntings. The family didn't have any occult interests. Like, he was a government official, a government scientist, Department of Defense guy that was brought there to just record the experiences.
Yeah, so for all accounts, he could have just been completely impartial to the paranormal in general.
Exactly.
He may have went in there like, this is dog shit, but I've got a job to do and I've got to record these encounters, so fuck it, whatever.
Yeah, you almost want an unbiased person to go in there so you get essentially quality data.
Yeah.
You have somebody that super believes in the paranormal, they're going to be like, oh, you heard that sound over there?
Yeah.
Definitely a ghost.
Yeah.
Oh, you saw a light flash over there? Definitely a UFO. There were no environmental changes to the property either. That was another thing we looked into. Were they remodeling their house? Did they stir up anything? Yada, yada, yada. Nothing. Eventually, over time, the intensity did decrease. So, as a whole, you have visual apparitions, reported auditory disturbances, the outdoor creature sighting, which is a upright wolf-like entity, independent corroboration with the children, and what else I got here? I got another little section I put in. According to Colm Kelleher, George Knapp, and James Latasky, he traveled to Skinwalker Ranch in an official investigative capacity, participated in briefings and reviews of anomalous case material, was presented during discussions of prior sightings and phenomena, was exposed to what the program considered high strangeness data. The book does not describe Axelrod as having any kind of paranormal experience at the ranch. He did not witness the wolf-like creature. He did not experience any poltergeist activities or shadow figures while being physically at the ranch. His role was specifically observational and evaluative. So the way it's bizarre in how essentially the hitchhiker moves. You don't have to interact with it directly. And it can essentially move. It can almost bypass you as a whole and move to your family.
Yeah.
Which sucks.
It does suck.
The next case we're going to get into is the Juliet Witt case. So, Juliet was just a civilian scientist. She never went to the ranch. She was not part of any classified program. She was not in the military. She was not an investigator. But she did marry a senior Department of Defense person that was deeply involved in government-sponsored investigations into the ranch. So we have, again, another person that was never there that experienced weird shit at the ranch.
Yeah, it's almost like the paranormal's version of AI.
Yeah,
like it's just like putting, like, every time it encounters something new, it's like, oh, let me explore this. Let me suck in as much information as I can get out of this situation.
Yeah.
Like maybe her husband's not that great, but maybe it was like, oh shit, she's a scientist. She's smart as fuck. I'm gonna see what I can suck out of this.
So in the book, Skinwalkers of the Pentagon, the husband of Juliet Witt, identified publicly as James Latasky. Lakatsky, my bad, Lakatsky, is one of the few officials described as having a direct anomalous experience at Skinwalker Ranch itself, not just follow home effects. During an official visit to Skinwalker Ranch in 2007, Lakatsky was taken into a ranch house that had previously been associated with unusual activity. While inside the house, specifically near or in the basement area, he reportedly witnessed a dark humanoid figure. Large, dark humanoid figure. It was described as tall and solid. It appeared suddenly inside the room. It was characterized as fully formed, an upright entity. The encounter was brief, had no extended interaction, and just vanished off into the mist. Lakatsky interpreted the experience as a significant and credible enough that it influenced his push for a formal government study into the ranch and the related phenomena. According to the book, the experience made an incredibly strong impression on him. He viewed it as direct evidence that something objective was occurring at the ranch, and it became part of the justification that initiated AAWSAP program under the Defense Intelligence Agency to begin. Prior to that, there was no paranormal history in his house. Again, no seances, no rituals, no occult practices. This is where his wife comes in. Juliet reported sensing someone standing in the bedroom doorway late at night. Exactly the same phenomena again. The feeling was so strong she would sit up in bed, fully alert, convinced that someone was there. Then she would look again and the doorway would be empty. One night she saw a dark mass near the door. The shape darker than the surrounding darkness around it. It was upright, human-sized. It was solid. She could not make out facial features, but she perceived the form of the mass. The shape moved silently. She froze. The figure seemed to glide rather than walk, and then it was gone. After that, her children began reporting disturbances independently. One child described seeing a large shadow in their hallway. Another spoke of a presence standing near their bed. Neither child had been told about Juliet's experience at the time. Their descriptions were similar. Tall, dark, motionless figures. The manifestations didn't happen nightly, but they recurred enough that it caused dread within the children. They didn't want to sleep by themselves. They wanted the lights on. They would leave and they would come back and find that their doors in their house would be slightly ajar. Their lights would be turned on when they had turned them off. They also had unexplained sounds from downstairs when everybody was in bed. Footsteps, thubs, cabinets opening and closing. And just the same, Juliet's husband, Lakatsky, would get up, go check it out, find nothing. So the activity continued to escalate beyond simple visual sightings. Household objects began behaving strangely. On one occasion, a heavy object reportedly moved completely across the counter with no visible cause. In another, an item was displaced from its original location in a way that did not align with gravity or accident. So another thing moving without any explanation. The family became hyper aware of every noise. Their sleep was interrupted. Then again, another weird thing. One of the most unsettling episodes involved an outdoor sighting. Near the wooded edge of their property, a large, upright, wolf-like creature was seen moving along the edge of their property, sometimes upright, sometimes on all four. It appeared on the tree line and would retreat back into the woods. The creature was described as disproportionately large compared to normal canine wildlife in the region. They didn't, however, find any tracks or any physical trace afterwards.
It's so weird that it, like, for whatever reason, these people are seeing large canid type creatures. It's so, I don't really know why. It's as exceptionally bizarre to me right now as it is. I guess it's just because there's the sheer connection between it that you have these people visiting Skinwalker Ranch, and then what could essentially be perceived as skinwalkers are, fucking with these people.
And it's weird that the canine phenomena is kind of across the board.
Yeah.
Because that was in the initial encounter at Skinwalker.
Yeah, it's kind of one of the...
With the original family.
Yeah, the starting points to Skinwalker.
Yeah, where it came up and it attacked calf, essentially.
Yeah. And he tried shooting it, and
Didn't
it
do anything.
Yeah, it wouldn't do anything.
Which almost leads more strange credence that whatever the thing was there has been passed on to... The fact that it can be passed on to people who are never at the ranch blows my fucking mind. Like, that's weird.
Yeah.
It's one thing if you visit it and you take it, but I guess it's no different than when we visited X. Because who were the first people to experience things in our homes? It was our kids.
Yeah, our kids.
Who were obviously never at X. Fucking weird. A couple more accounts. Colm Keller's family account. So Colm Kelleher began working as a scientist for the privately funded investigation happening at Skinwalker Ranch in the 90s. He was essentially a biochemist brought in to analyze data. His background was in immunology and molecular biology, not a paranormal investigator. Just wasn't. He was brought in to examine biological effects, animal injuries, psychological anomalies, environmental data. The strange activity at the ranch was something that he observed from a professional standpoint. Shortly after becoming deeply involved in the ranch investigation, disturbances began at his family residence in Nevada. At first, the events were subtle. His wife, again, the first one to report any activity, his wife began to report an uneasy sensation at night, the feeling of being watched. Then she started hearing noises, heavy footsteps in the hallway, knocking sounds coming from empty rooms, movements downstairs after everyone else had gone to bed. Kelleher would go search the house, not find any evidence of an intruder, no evidence of forced entry, no environmental causes, nothing. These disturbances only began after he had essentially been exposed to whatever the phenomena was at Skinwalker Ranch. On multiple occasions, family members reported seeing dark figures inside the house. They were described as solid, black shapes, humanoid in figure, tall. They started out stationary at first, usually positioned in doorways or corners, but then as the encounters went on, these things they would observe them moving, almost gliding throughout the house. One of the children reported seeing a figure standing near their bedroom door, watching. Again, right on par. In at least one instance, the figure seemed to move with deliberate motion before disappearing. Then came the poltergeist activity. Objects began to move. One incident involved a heavy object shifting in position on a counter without any force moving it. Another involved items falling or being displaced in ways that did not align with anything happening in the house. There was episodes of loud bangs against walls and doors. Again, cabinets opening, cabinets closing. Household disturbances could not be traced to plumbing, wind, structural causes. It went on to affect their sleep, psychological stuff. They also saw, again, a strange wolf-like creature at the edge of their property, which is bizarre. Massive, wolf-like, broad-chested, appearing in an upright position.
It's so crazy that they all fit the same narrative.
It's weird.
It has a routine everywhere it goes.
Yeah. It does change, though, for George Knapp. Because Knapp went to the ranch as a journalist. He went there specifically, with a purpose. I don't want to use the word sensationalize, but almost to record and put out what the phenomena was happening there at the ranch. So his involvement with Skinwalker Ranch began in the 90s after learning of the National Institute for Discovery Science being funded by Robert Bigelow. Knapp visited the ranch multiple times, interviewed witnesses, reviewed field data. He was not there as a primary experiencer, which is the way the ranch staffs were, who had to encourage or interact with it all the time. But he did report unusual events. During a visit to Skinwalker Ranch, Knapp described witnessing strange phenomena firsthand. One investigation, he observed anomalous aerial lights. They moved erratically, unlike typical aircraft. They appeared and disappeared without sound or navigation. At times, they seemed stationary before accelerating. There were also reports of animal reactions, dog refusing to approach certain areas of the property. Knapp described moments where the atmosphere felt charged, sense of anticipation among investigators, like almost they were waiting for something to occur, like the anxiety was just building up. He was present during periods when cattle mutilations and creature sightings had recently been reported. While he did not witness personally a full-bodied creature manifestation like ranch caretakers had, he reported seeing unexplained lights and experiencing the overall environment, and reported it being deeply settling. Knapp has stated in interviews and writings that individuals connected with the ranch sometimes reported similar follow-home events. He talked about sudden electronic malfunctions. He experienced anomalous phone interference, a sense of being observed, and also experienced unusual light phenomena in proximity to his home. Some retellings, Knapp describes strange activity occurring around his property after sustained ranch involvement. The manifestations were not portrayed as prolonged and extreme as compared to the others. He did notice orbs, again, weird electrical stuff. So it's kind of an offset from where the first three encounters were, but he did bring home essentially something strange from the ranch. So this obviously got me thinking about our experiences coming back from X, because they are, minus the dog-like creature, because as far as I know, none of us had any kind of experience with that post-X.
No.
Everything else kind of lines up, and it's weird that it almost follows the same pattern every time.
It is weird.
It was different for Knapp, obviously, but
I don't know. I feel like, and I know you said there's probably going to be a part 2, and maybe that is going to, I feel like we're missing a piece of the puzzle.
Yeah, I'm thinking
not that it's your fault or anything like that. I just feel like there's a piece of the puzzle missing right now that's not tying it all together for our brains right now. Does that make sense?
kind of.
Like why the variance with Knapp? Why does it have the same routine? Why is it latching on to people?
Oh yeah.
And
I don't
to
have an
begin
answer
with,
for that.
and it jumps to like it's a systematic thing. Like it's so weird to me that in almost, if I remember right, every one of your cases, almost per you being different out of that, it jumps to women,
Which is weird.
and children. It prefers women and children over men.
That is weird.
Because almost in every one of them cases,
Yeah.
the woman had more reports. The women and children had more than the man.
Yes.
Which is weird.
Which is kind of the same thing that happened to you when you
Because
got
that's
back
what
from
happened
X.
to me. Because I didn't have any of those experiences. My wife and children did.
Yeah, you had the bean drop.
Yeah, well, we all heard that.
Yeah, that's true too.
And in the first case, you said homeboy heard all the noises around the house. He didn't see anything, but he heard the noises.
And the metallic clank is fucking weird.
Yeah.
It's almost like putting in the perspective that the phenomena, when people get too close to a perceivable answer to the phenomena, it's almost like it starts to push back. Like you stare into the void will stare back.
Mm-hmm.
These people who are on the ranch taking analytical data And then this weird shit starts to happen at their house. Almost like it's trying to scare them off. Which it kind of makes sense that it doesn't go directly for the men because they were the ones at the ranch.
Right.
They, in the phenomena's point of view, it's almost like these guys aren't scared enough, essentially scared enough not to come here. So let's get them the next best way we can. Let's start messing with their families.
That is a surefire way to manipulate.
100%.
It is. It's definitely because I could see a lot of men trucking through the experiences and going back and being like, nope, this is my job, blah 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 blah. But the second it starts messing with your wife and kids, it changes because that's a level of vulnerability that the men don't know how to navigate because you can't fight it.
No.
Because if it was fightable, they would just fight it and be like, get fucked. But they can't. So it's this area where they're like the men will hold responsibility. They'll say, this is my fault. Now my wife and children are being terrorized because of something I did. So instead of continuing this pursuit, I'm just going to bow out and say, fuck it. Fuck the job. Yep. Fuck the research. I'm out.
Yeah. Because
that's the only logical explanation at that route.
Yeah. Because if you're solely dealing with yourself, like you can take a brunt of weird shit, like hate, all kinds of stuff. But as soon as it starts affecting your family,
it's different.
It's different. It's 100% different.
Absolutely.
Your kids are too scared to go to bed, and your wife can't sleep because she's seeing figures in the hallway, and you're like, hey, honey, I got to go back to the ranch for work tomorrow.
Yeah.
You're a dork.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Is what that boils down to.
You'd be a psychopath to keep putting your family.
So it is almost like whatever the phenomena is doesn't want people getting too close to it. It's like it is like it essentially fights and pushes back. The fact that they refer to it as a contagion or contagious and a virus, like it's almost like it knows.
I don't like that though.
How to get to people.
I don't like that.
It's almost like it's attacking your emotional immune system. Like it'll get inside you and it'll find your weaknesses and then it'll pick them out.
I don't know. I don't know that 100%. I'm going to use the word buy it, but it's not really what I mean. I like the idea that because like even in my Leopardman episodes and other ones that we've done, these liminal beings that, especially I'm learning this a lot as I go through these like forest and jungle type entities. They all command like a level of respect for the environment and for them as a whole. And so I'm kind of coming around to this idea that I fully buy into what Steve's saying about their, like, for whatever the phenomena is, whether that's the phenomena as a whole or just the phenomena that's at the ranch or whatever the fuck it is. I don't know about that. But I do feel like, because, we were, and this isn't fair because we were talking about this off air, and I'm not going to elaborate too much because there might be another episode, so on and so forth. But I do feel like there are people that deal with the phenomena and get a pass.
Yeah.
I do, and I do think that pass is expirable too.
Yeah.
I think that the phenomena may or may not command you to walk this thin line / tightrope without telling you fuck all. And once you cross that, it may turn on you, or it may do what it needs to do at that point. It's so weird because it does, and I'll use that word again, it does seem like it chooses vessels.
Which is gross.
To either facilitate the message it wants it to go out, or it chooses vessels to snuff the message that's being put out.
Which is crazy.
It is crazy. And I just had a fucking thought. Now it's gone, which was pertinent to the
Snuffs, or it chooses
vessels.
vessels to snuff.
Yeah. Dang it. It was a really good idea, and now it just went away.
It's because the phenomena doesn't want you saying it.
Maybe. No, it was in relation to egress. Dang it.
Because that was the same time period. Were you talking about feeling connected?
No, it was it was a different thought. I was talking about the vessels and being. Oh no, that's what it was. So it was like whenever we were fucking with egress, and egress said, like, they were cool. Remember, it was all kosher in the beginning.
Yeah.
Oh, Holosky's a friend, da. Until what?
Loyalty test, and we failed.
The loyalty test, and we failed it. I think the phenomena is similar to that situation.
I can get behind that 100%.
I think it is. And I think it's just like we were talking too, how there are people in everybody listening, Steve and I, we all will meet people that we instantly mesh with, and we'll meet people that we instantly clash with. And I think that stands true to this phenomena thing too, where there are some people that are in the same zone that we are, and the phenomena says, no, fuck you. It doesn't matter what you say. See you later. It's almost like, because technically at that point, the phenomena could then decide for itself when it wants to be found, how it wants to be found, how it wants to be perceived. It's very interesting. It's an interesting concept to try to run your brain down those lanes of thinking.
Which kind of leads credence to the phenomena being some sort of intellectually advanced, emotionally advanced entity, essentially. To be able
or
to
a collection of.
Yeah, or a collection of. To be able to manipulate people the way that this thing does based on fear. And my next episode, if I can find enough meat on it, it kind of goes in.
I think you can, because I think the conversation that'll spawn from it will be its own thing.
Yeah. Which is kind of goes into the area of like Jacques Vallée's look on the phenomenon, where it's so advanced. Can it essentially, when fear isn't enough, can it manipulate people to essentially silence the people that are looking into the phenomena?
I think we should definitely run down that line of thinking in another episode. Because I think it's too interesting. Like, even just the one example you gave me of the conference, I think that's way too interesting to not bring it up and talk about it and get that out there. Because it's very, very interesting. It's very bizarre that it all plays out the way that it plays out. It's really fucked up.
And is it even? I mean, it's not. It doesn't even necessarily have to be an offshoot of the Skinwalker or of the Hitchhiker Effect, because I don't necessarily think it plays into that, but it could. It could. In the realm that the Hitchhiker Effect is being used as some fear tool to keep people from getting close intellectually to the phenomena.
Which fucking feels like a crazy ass government conspiracy.
Fucking right.
Because for some reason, like, my brain keeps entertaining this idea that this phenomenon, like a government entity that is like, hey, let's, like, they have the ability to, I don't know, astral project or whatever, to manifest and send it all directly. It just feels a way for me.
Yeah. It's like some
I don't
dude.
know.
It's like a set of scientists collecting data on paranormal activity of other scientists that went to a place to collect data on paranormal activity.
It's so like it feels like that. It's ridiculous. I don't get it.
It's weird.
I don't get it.
It's weird, folks. Well, that's what I got for today.
I like it. I really want to keep running down the avenue of what the phenomena could be.
It is parallel with what we experienced at X.
Yeah.
We were warned on multiple occasions we need to protect ourselves, blah, blah, blah. We didn't pay any attention to it. We were warned by Ghost Hunter Dave, don't go to X. It's a portal. It's bad. He literally used the term the Watcher. He literally used the term it'll follow you home. We go. We come back. The very things that they're explaining that came back from the ranch essentially happened to us. Our children seeing things in the doorway, hearing weird noises. Kyle's wife experiencing weird things. Mm-hmm. I experienced shadow in the doorway. I know I talked about it on shows before, but we may have some new listeners. We can get into that if people want to hear about it. But that also brings credence to the question, is it specific to Skinwalker Ranch? Which essentially it wouldn't be. Because how many of these places that has the capability of sending out the contagions exist? So thanks for hanging out with us. Hope you all have a good week. Check us out at our socials. Go subscribe to the YouTube. And until we meet again, stay safe, stay weird, and help spread the Holosky contagion. Not the Hitchhiker contagion.